Sizzle season has made some nice and balanced and totally fun to play against weapons. Spite aside, I reviewed Fresh season, so why not Sizzle season? The general structure is gonna be the same. Going over the patch notes, kits, any in particular I do or don't like, ranking the kits, then the stages. Just this time, no DLC since side order hasn't even really been talked about since its reveal. Again, the 3 things I'm going to be looking for when I rank the weapons: faithfulness, if it stays true to the previous map, weapon, whatever, in a way that doesn't break the game; design, which is just a flair on how the map, weapon, etc. looks; finally, hype factor, which is if the map that was brought back is cool, or if the weapon is fun. Now, for the patch notes. Getting started, Carbon will now roll a 6 faster than usual. Not a huge buff, but it's fine. A pretty good buff was given to Octobrush, being 16% less ink hungry, which is good. Zipcaster obviously goes down by time, but the ink take depletes while you're using it. If the ink take isn't depleting as fast, you get more zip, which is nice. Another good buff is for the Snipe Rider, being 13% less ink hungry and strafing 13% faster. Don't know why 13% specifically, but at least for the ink consumption, definitely could be better. Bubbler got a big buff, making the Bubbler even bigger by a very noticeable amount. Granted, some specials can still destroy it, but look at this clip! Night and day comparing these two. Tacticooler got 2 buffs, making the drink effects last 2 seconds longer, and making special power-up have more an effect on it, which is nice. Tacticooler has definitely been getting better since launch, and that's good since I love the special. Super Chump got a painting buff, making it 40% better at inking. Wow! It also does at least 35 damage, making it a 3-shot instead of a 4-shot. It is also able to be activated closer to yourself, allowing more stealthy plays, which is really good. Ultra Stamp, however, wasn't too lucky, and now lost 1.5 seconds of its duration, but on the other hand, Special Power-Up got a buff on it. There are 3 points for special changes: Neo Splash and Rapid Deco getting bumped up to 210. Neo Splash is one I can understand, but Deco? Really? The thing barely gets specials in the first place. Whatever. Ballpoint also got bumped up to 200, which makes me question why they buffed its points for special in the first place. You might have noticed something, in that I forgot to mention 3 major nerfs. That being blows dealt to Stamper, Machine, and Splash. Splash's paint rage has been decreased, so basically it can't paint your feet from far away. A weird way to nerf it, but still good. Stamper though, poor Stamper. First nerf is reasonable, increasing the horizontal slash's narrowness by 14%. That thing had some weird hitboxes, so I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is the ink consumption, because it isn't 10, it isn't 15, not 20. It's 30 fucking %. For those who aren't aware, instead of 26 slashes, you get 18, which now means the burst bomb combo it had is way more ink hungry. Remember how I said ink consumption affects Zipcaster? It also affects it negatively, since now you lose zip even faster. I would have settled for 15%, 20 even, but now I'm just gonna play Octobrush. That isn't even the worst of it. The sloshing machine is the most dead weapon. So sorry to anyone who mained it. May you find a new weapon. It takes 5 more frames to slosh, which, on paper, doesn't sound bad. What's 5 more frames? Given the fact you get around 10 sloshes on a full ink tank, we just have to add 5 frames for each slosh. That's a total of 50 whole frames. That's really bad. Again, this clip right here shows how horrible it is. The only way it gets any worse is if they give the sprinkler Wait. Overall, some buffs were kinda just there, while others were amazing. Some nerfs were warranted, and some weren't. It's a fine patch. Some buffs and nerfs could have had more in effect or less in effect. I don't really mind it, but now I need to make another build for Stamper. Wahoo! For the FDH scale, it's a really low score, being a 9. Not gonna lie, Nogami, kinda cringe. While editing me sulks about Stamper, let's go over the new kits. There were 11 new kits, 2 new weapons, and whoa, what's this? 3 completely new weapon kits? Hopefully they won't be ass! God damn it. S-Blast 92 has Sprinkler Reef, and Paintbrush got Curling Wave. Tentosorella was given Mine and Zuka, while Custom Dualies got Suiken Super Chunk. Sprinkler Zipcaster for Tetris, let's go, and Point Sensor Kraken for Heavy Deco. H3D has Wall Bubbler, while Rapid Pro Deco was given Marker Whale. The 3 new weapons, Wiper Deco, Akinova, and Swiggy X, were given Squeakin' Missiles, Ink Mine Inkjet, and Marker Inkstorm respectively. And may I add, I fully predicted Akinova's kit. I'm so cool. Now let me rank them, starting with
Swiggy X is an alright weapon, and these next few weapons are kinda hard to rank since I personally didn't like most of them, but with Marker and Inkstorm, paired with the weirdness of Big Swig, it's just something that I just don't like. For the footage, I had 3 mains of special charge up, so believe you me when I say it was raining like hell for those matches. Even then, I was kinda just hitting the ZR button for 3 minutes, hoping to catch a win. Nothing really sticks out to me for this weapon, so that's why it's at number 11. Dually Squelchers have a massive ink efficiency problem, and when I heard they were giving it Squeakin', that kinda killed my hope for it. I don't hate Squeakin', but it's really only good if you use sub power up, which isn't really worth it. Super Jump is a good special, especially with the buffs that were given this patch, so I'm fine with it. Dualies themselves aren't bad, I just wish it didn't have Squeakin'. If you didn't know, I love playing H3. It's one of my favorite weapons. Let's just say the first kit it got in 3 was not good. Although Splash Wall and Bubbler is kind of redundant, it actually works nicely. You can push up with Wall and set up Bubbler even farther. Once the Bubbler runs out, you can push even more with Wall. It's honestly really fun, but I feel like it needs a bomb since a millennium passes by between each shot. I really only put it at number 9 since I just prefer the others. Nothing against H3D, it's still fun, just... Wiper Deco is really infamous, paired with Squeakin' and missiles. It honestly wasn't that bad though. I feel the worries were kinda unnecessary. You don't really get missiles that fast, especially with the cooldown timer they gave it. If there wasn't a cooldown, it'd be way worse. Whenever I played it, I just played normally. Only time I got real use out of missiles was in the first 30 seconds when everyone's close with each other. Beyond that, I don't mind it. Squeakin' is also nice for placing it down in hard to see areas, especially once you put missiles on people. I predicted Aki Nova, and it kinda sucks that I did. Yeah, I can say I got a Splatoon 3 kit correct, but it has Ink Mine. They should buff it to be at least a 2-shot. Point Sensor worked well since you could throw it and it gave locations to people. Not only that, but Opening Gamut just basically made this weapon really good. With Ink Mine, you can pair it with Squid Roll, which only gives you location, and it's not even good at that. If you know it's there, you can paint over and act like it was never there in the first place. The only thing I used it for was to camp my Inkjet recall, and again, it doesn't kill, so I usually just trade it. Inkjet is pretty good though, just again, sucks it got paired with Ink Mine on Nova. My favorite special in the game, maybe even Splatoon as a whole, is Zuka. In 1, it was really broken, and in 3, it's fun to hit shots with. Now, imagine you could put up a shield and launch your Zuka. Wait, they did that already? Tentosorella was a fun weapon to play. The shield actually worked, which is just, oh my god, it's crazy just to think about that. And Ink Mine was fine. I only really didn't like shooting the Brella because it takes, again, a millennium to come out, and then you get to shoot it again, and then it takes another millennium, and it just keeps going. It's annoying. I just didn't like it because the other weapons are just better. Case in point for weapons being better than Sorella, S-Blast 92. Originally, I was going to put the S-Blast towards the 10th to 8th placement since I couldn't get a hang of the weapon, but thinking back, I played like 8 to 9 matches. And now that I have like 3 stars, and I've played for like, 3-4 hours now? It's a really fun weapon. In a way, it kinda echoes CRB from 1. I say kinda since it obviously doesn't have Kraken, nor Splat Bomb, but that's fine. You can still be aggressive with this since Reef isn't a Def Sense anymore. The real Def Sense now is Vacuum. So yeah, I like playing S-Blast, I just need to get used to it more. Moving on from one new weapon to the next, the Paintbrush was surprisingly fun. The windup is slow, but they gave you curling so that you can still travel and get your swings out for a kill. Only downside is that curling costs the same amount as Splat Bomb, but without the versatility. At worst, it should be 50%, but I digress. Wavebreaker is probably the best special you could have given this. The 45 damage pairs perfectly with the sweet spot of 60, making for a really quick kill if you don't pay attention. While gathering footage, definitely died to that combo a few times. This weapon was so much fun to play. Wonder what they'll do for the next kit. Genuinely have no idea why I like Rapid Pro Deco more than S-Blast and Paintbrush, but I do. I enjoyed playing with it, even though I was dying a lot. Marker is a surprisingly good sub on this, comboing with the direct hit. Whale is just an alright special, but it's never bad, never good. It's just a really fun weapon to play. These last 2 weapons were pretty hard to rank, but if I'm being real with myself, I like Tetras over Heavy. Heavy is still fun to play, but I just have one thing I don't like. I understand it's a reference to Heavy Splatling Deco from 1, but why do you give it Kraken? Like, think about it. Kraken is supposed to be aggressive, for pushing. When you're a backliner, you're really only popping it to retreat, which stinks because I love Kraken as a special. If you go in Kraken, you may end up surrounded and sent back to spawn. just not my cup of tea personally. Was really hoping they'd do Heavy Remix from 2 with Point Sensor and Booyah Bomb. I was a proud Heavy Remix main then. Regardless, it's a nice weapon with an okay kit. Nothing against Point Sensor, I just don't really understand Kraken. Finally, light Tetras.
Ooh boy.
Tetras, these are so much fun to play, and putting Zipcaster on it was such a good move. You can zip to people, kill them, and zip away since you can use your rolls to maneuver into another zip and keep doing that. It's really fun to do. If you run out of rolls, zip to a wall and roll in the air. You instantly fall, so then you can just keep repeating that until it runs out. Sprinkler only helps give you more Zipcasters, so it's kind of incentivized. Definitely my favorite weapon to come out of Sizzle season. Overall, these weapons range from pretty alright to amazing design. As a whole, on the FDH scale, I give it 19 points out of 30. Like the previous 2 seasons, we got 2 new maps. Starting off with the brand new one, Barnacle and Dime. I'm only going to be covering the Turf War layout since I don't feel like going over the same map 5 times. Once you spawn in, there are 3 routes to take. Left side, mid, and right side. Left gives you some cover and a higher platform for a good view on mid. However, it'd be pretty easy to be sneaked up on, since the paintable walls. Then you can drop down to this little section with some cover to jump up back to mid. The mid route has you drop down a few times with a block to jump back to spawn. For whatever reason, they gave the most obvious side an uninkable wall. Then you get 3 options. To go to the little section, straight into mid, or onto this wooden platform. In mid, there's a wooden piece that is fully inkable. On the first wooden platform, there's some ramps and cover. At this section of the wooden platform, you can drop down to the enemy side of the little section. Finally, going to the right gives you some higher ground before you drop, then 2 options. You can either go onto the glass hallway or climb up for a bit of cover. Dropping down, you can either go into the mid route or go right to a sniper perch spot. From there, you can drop down into mid. Like I did last time, I'll be providing some squeaking spots, so here they are. I don't have any strong opinions against or for this stage. I mean, yeah, it's basically just another Tetris block, but it's still goodish. Counts for something, right? For the returning map, we have Humpback Pump Track. Like usual, there are 3 routes, left, mid, and right. Left side has you spawn on this weird uninkable platform they gave us in 3. Don't know why it's there, but it is. You get a lot of cover and a lot of drop downs into mid. If you stick to the left, you'll head into enemy territory. This leads you straight into mid, either by just walking or via this ramp. If you choose to go the mid route, you get a lot of options. You can go directly down, to the right and down, or to the left and down. Regardless, you'll end up around here. You can go to the right, which leads you into the bottom area, and a way to go into enemy base, or the left, which is the same except it leads you to your own base. If you decide to hang out in mid, it's sort of like a hill that you can protect with some cover. Lastly, we're now left with the right side, which has this right platform that you can use to drop down. Some more ramps and cover until you drop down into the enemy hallway. Again, a lot of cover and a lot of drop downs into mid. If you choose not to, welcome yourself into the enemy base. Like for the last map I just talked about, I'll give you some good squeaking spots. I don't mind Humpback Pump Track, but I would have rather prefer something like Skipper Pavilion, because that one's like Salt Spray Wig, where it's horizontally mirrored instead of vertically mirrored. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been kind of hard to balance social life, school, and YouTube, but finally with finals done, I can do this more. I definitely will be posting more frequently, and as of writing this and recording this, I expect a Nintendo Direct sometime soon, so you can definitely expect a reaction. With all that said, I'm out of here.